All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey.
Hope everyone is doing extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
We've just been assaulted by our. We've just assaulted their ears.
Yes.
Happy post FlutterCon.
Yeah. I am back. FlutterCon was actually really good. It was cool.
Oh, like you're surprised. That's like surprising, like the way you said that. FlutterCon was actually really good, like.
I expected
FlutterCon
to be a dumpster fire, and it turned out to be really good. No, I'm kidding. No, when I say that, it had less to do with FlutterCon and everything to do with me. For those of you who are at FlutterCon, you did get your fortune from Captain Reef, I assume. And I like literally the night before I left for FlutterCon was still finishing that stupid thing. Yeah, like still putting things together, still getting things working, still getting everything actually functional. And like I got it working, I took a video and I shoved it in a suitcase when I went to FlutterCon. And the fact that only minimal things went wrong with it is a small miracle, if we're being completely honest.
Sounds like the typical conference talk. Yeah.
I think it's a bit more. It's a bit more to those things, right? Because just like software, if you've got this really complicated piece of machinery, in effect, a system, complex system, there's so many parts that go wrong. And when you talk about the physical stuff, it's even harder because it's not just like, just tippy tap, change a line of code and you fix your problem. No, physically got to take it apart, or you've got to resolder something, or you've got to like debug it and with a scope and like work out what's going wrong. It's like, it's a whole different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, cycle times are not in the minutes, right? Cycle times are in like hours.
So I have a friend who lives close to Orlando, and as insurance, I texted him and I was like, when you come into FlutterCon, please bring your soldering iron and like a whole bunch of other supplies so that if I need to fix this thing on the spot, I can do it. I won't have that opportunity in Berlin. I am going to Berlin, by the way. Fingers crossed.
I maybe have to help you out with that, Matt, because I put together a portable kit. So when I have these things, I actually have a kit that I take with me.
Nice.
So you get there's a thing called a pine seal, which is like it's a pencil soldering iron. It runs off USB-C.
Ooh.
I would highly recommend that.
Hold on. I'm sorry, my audio is messing up. I'm trying to turn up the sound here. You're saying that you have a USB-C powered soldering iron. Oh,
Guess
that is
who's
the
going
coolest
to
thing I've heard
Amazon right
in a minute.
now? He said
Guess who's going?
As we're speaking.
I'll get you the link. Get the link.
Click. Yeah, give him your referral link since you're at saying products here online.
Ooh, Pine 64.
Seven makes
I wonder if I can get that
buy one
through
of
TSA.
No, almost certainly not.
Yeah.
Risk 5 soldering iron running on open firmware. Amazing.
So it detects when you put it down horizontal and turns itself off. So when you pick it up,
Whoa.
It has like a IMU in it.
Wow. Who knew?
Iron OS operating system.
Oh my God.
Oh, no,
that's exactly what I need. 32 kilobytes of RAM. It has 32 kilobytes of RAM. My soldering iron has 32 kilobytes of RAM. That is amazing.
It gets better than that.
32-bit RISC processor.
And it runs at 108 megahertz.
Because that's what you need in your soldering iron.
Dude, I remember a computer I had, which was like 66 megahertz.
We had a
P90. I remember P90. Yeah.
We had a PDP 1170 for 20 people, 20 engineers that didn't have that stat.
What does a soldering iron need an OLED display for?
Oh, it's brilliant. It really is. Because you need to know how to change the temperature on it.
Yeah.
And you need to know what temperature it is. So and it's only this big.
You don't need an OLED display for that.
No, they're cheap. They're cheaper than the LED display.
Simon, I do have a serious question now. Can it run Doom?
Can it run Doom? I'm sure someone actually has made it run Doom. Looking at those.
I want to. If I can play Doom on my soldering iron, I will buy the soldering iron. That's what we need
to see if we can get Flutter running on it.
Yeah, Flutter. embed the Flutter this. That'd be great.
That's my 2027 talk. I got Flutter running on a soldering iron. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping there'd be like some more pictures I can to show you. But yeah. Anyway, there's lots of knockoffs out there, but the original is this one, the Pine Saw. So, yeah.
Probably.
I wonder if I could get that through TSA. That's my big question. Is can I get it through TSA?
I use it. You do check luggage. That's fine.
Yeah. I
So
typically
do it on
don't
travel
check bags.
What if you're traveling across the Atlantic? I'll probably check that.
No, I have been. Well, I was forced to check my bag when I went to FlutterCon last year, but I have been to Europe and just showed up with a backpack and been fine. I'm that dude.
Yeah, no, of course you can.
Right.
It's like that's how long to stay.
I've been in 69 countries and only checked my luggage maybe 5 times. So there.
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't let you. I don't see any reason why
That's
they wouldn't
nice.
check that because it's not like the tip comes off like it's in a pack, right? Like it's not like it's usable or whatever else. Like any other bit of electronics you might have in your bag, right? Like it's not.
Fair enough.
Shall we
Simon,
do
you're
an
I don't know
introduction
if you're
and stuff?
breaking up for everyone else, but you're breaking up a little bit. Oh yeah, we should probably introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who are these 4 guys talking about soldering irons that you can run Flutter on?
This is a Flutter show, right?
Is it? Is that what someone? Is
Maybe.
that what someone said?
It could be.
Let's do some introductions here. My name is Simon Light for Flutter Community Leader, the CTO at Dev Angels London. You can find me on Twitter and other places at Dev Angels London. Randall.
I'm Randall Schwartz. I am a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert. Next month will be 8 years from the very beginning of the program. I answer a lot of questions on all the socials all day, every day. But what I also do is for this channel in particular, I am the question magician, which means I am watching the live chat, looking for you to say Q : followed by a statement or question. And I will flag those to take in the order received. Usually, occasionally we get a little bounce around. But also, if you say the same question twice, you come out of the queue and into the end of the queue. So don't do that. That's just rude, and we pay attention to that. Danielle can't be here today. John.
Yeah, John Weezy. I manage the Flutter community medium and have a few apps that I work on, and then I hang out in places answering questions like Randall. Matthew.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, my name is Matthew. I am the Flutter community's #1 orca licker. But also I have a YouTube channel where I make funny, weird, kind of crazy inventions like the fortune-telling fish that I just talked about. Stay tuned. There is a video coming out on it soon. I am going through 10 months of footage to try and figure out where the video is in this thing, but it will be coming out soon. Fingers crossed. Also for my day job, I am a senior innovation engineer at a large bank, and I have been a Flutter developer since 2019.
Nice. I feel like we need to expand on the Oracle liquor thing just to fill people in.
You've seen comedians.
No context.
You've seen comedians during their monologue occasionally refer to the warm-up act. That would be this.
No context. No context.
Exactly.
You want to give context? All right, we don't give context. Let people go.
No, okay.
Exactly.
So if you watched the show
Believe
2
it.
weeks ago, I was saying that I was hoping to go to Universal Studios after FlutterCon, but my friend wanted to go to SeaWorld, and I didn't want to go to SeaWorld. Well, I caved. I went to SeaWorld, and I was like, I don't want to do this because, I'm vegan and I've got some concerns. And Simon's like, it's not like you're eating the orcas. It's not like you're diving into the tank and licking the orcas. And I ended up at SeaWorld, and that was like a whole thing. I almost died at SeaWorld, but that's a whole other story. So, yeah, that's the orca.
And he came home sick because he licked the orcas.
I came home sick because I licked the orcas. Yes.
That was the joke backstage before you guys all got here. Yes.
I'm
He
just
didn't
now
get sick
getting
from
over
the
it.
conference. He got sick from going sea life.
From
SeaWorld.
licking the orcas at SeaWorld, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I dove into the tank. I licked an orca. I came back out. They escorted me out of the park, and now I'm sick. Yes, that's 100%.
Or
Yeah.
as they say on IT Crowd, the sea parks, right? Sea parks, isn't that what you have in
Sea
the
parks.
UK? Sea parks.
No?
Not anymore. It was in the IT Crowd. I'm sure it's real.
Call it what? Sea parks.
Yeah, we talked about
have,
going
like,
to a sea parks. In the episode where he sets his hands on fire. Come on.
Oh,
And-
now we
and
got to go
probably
look.
just, I don't know. I've never heard of sea parks. We have sea life, like sea life centers.
Okay, maybe that was a different name, but no, it's definitely
You mean
sea parks because I remember
aquariums,
that
Simon?
standing
Yes.
out in my head. Yeah,
SeaWorld parks.
Yep.
That's not sea parks.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway,
it's something. It's somehow the IT crowd is referencing that. I'm sure somebody in our audience will have the exact.
Yeah,
word.
no,
might
it's
be-
there. I found it.
They can't paste
Yeah,
it. Okay.
it's there.
Yeah,
it's
I think
in series 4,
I think.
episode 4. Yeah.
4.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is it's probably a reference to just fire. Yeah,
Generic
fire at
sea
sea
park.
park. No. I know what it is now. He's talking about just a generic term for a brand. You know what I mean? Like there's not a brand called sea park.
Ah, so it's not a brand.
Yes.
Okay.
No. They just put
Gotcha.
it in the show to talk about like a sea. You know, like a place like
Yeah.
what's Matt? What was the one you
Park caught fire.
SeaWorld.
A sea park.
Yeah, I went to SeaWorld.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got a few different ones,
And,
but that one called that. Yeah.
We got do's
So
and
this is a
don'ts. One
Flutter
of them
show.
would be don't lick the orca.
Yeah, we need to add that one. Don't lick the orcas.
Don't put
Yeah.
the-
Actually, we should get on to that. The other dudes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
don't lick-
It's my cue. I'm trying to cue you to push the button.
We need to add a number 7. Don't lick the orcas. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Do have a good time not licking the orchids. That's why we could fix number 6. Just patch number 6. No point for number 7. Anyway, be nice, people. Be good. Be constructive when talking to each other here. They are real people that you're talking to in social media. They are not bots, most of them anyway. Don't post anything that's adult or rude. Don't advertise or promote anything. If you paste a URL, we never see it anyway. So it doesn't matter. Don't try to pimp your thing by putting a URL in the chat. We won't see it. Don't post again and again. That's just boring. Please be creative. Harassment of any kind, not tolerated. We have ban hammers. We haven't used them in a very long time. Thank you, people. But do have a good time. We have a good time sharing what we know. And that's why we come back here week after week after week to be able to bring this show to you. There you go. And don't lick orcas.
Don't lick the orcas.
Simon, what's he doing?
Yes.
Got to push the button.
Yeah. John, we can do this bit.
All right. Yeah, like Randall said, you cannot post URLs in the comments. Nobody will see them. So if you do want to share code with us for us to look at and or do some live coding against for you, head over to just.new, put in a descriptive title, give it a file name that ends in .dart, so we get Dart formatting and coding, color coding, and then paste your code in or type it out, whatever works. And once you create that, in step 6 down there, you will get a URL, grab the hash at the end of the URL and share that and only that with us. And then we can go out and grab your gist and look at your code.
We'll get the gist of it.
We will.
Ooh. Hey, had to get my grandpa
Bum,
joke
bum.
in there today. Yes. Yay. So no
Do
questions
they have a cymbal
yet.
sound, Simon? Do they have the bump sound in there?
Rim shot.
Like they've got the
Rim
clapping and stuff. Can we get a rim shot?
Rim shot. Yes.
This soldering
Oh,
iron's
man, I
only
don't even know
$26.
Oh, he's already bought 5 of them. $26. One for every.
He's setting up his own. He's. Oh, that's
Train horn.
Oh yeah, that's how my joke landed.
So FlutterCon was actually really good. There were several talks that I really, really enjoyed. And
Yours and Kaylee's 3.
Yes.
I feel so bad. I actually did not end up at any of Kaylee's talks, and I feel so terrible about that.
She's in the chat.
My friend on
too.
the second, so they had like a competition on the second day where they had like a whole bunch of little robots, and they wanted people to like write apps to control the robots, and then there was going to be a race. And so the friend that was with me really wanted to participate, so we spent the day writing an app for the robot and came in last place. It was It was amazing. But what we did is we used the internal gyroscope of the phone, or sorry, accelerometer of the phone, to like control the robot. So you tilt forward, robot goes forward, tilt back, slows down, tilt all the way back, reverse, left, right. It was like a Wiimote almost. So everyone else just like made like a little thumbstick on the app, and we made it overly complicated. But we did get points for creativity, so that was fun. But most of the second day of the conference, I was doing that. Jin's talk was excellent. So Jin's on our sister show, the AI show. His talk was absolutely, I really, really loved it. In fact, when it comes out on video, you should go watch it. He wrote Llama Dart, which is a package that you can use to use Llama inside of your Dart code. And he wrote like a little thing. I think most of you know English is his second language, and so he wrote like an AI agent that will correct his grammar in any like text field on his computer, and that's what his talk was about. It was really, really cool. And then I also enjoyed the talk from LG. You can now run Flutter on an LG television, and they have a bunch of options for that. So the talk on the Flutter embedder for the LG television was really interesting. I do have an LG smart TV, so my partner is going to love it when I rip that out of the guest bedroom and start tinkering with it. And the Canonical guys, shoot, I forget his name. If you're watching, I'm so sorry, but there was a talk on the Linux embedder for Flutter, and that was really, really good. There was a I asked them like, how did you get the optimization good? And they were like, we don't know. We did no optimization whatsoever, which cracked me up. But it. That talk was excellent. And then another one I liked, VGV did the, Simon, you were talking about this, the how do you make the social media scrolling video short form where you scroll up, like that's a hard technical problem to solve. And they did a whole talk on their app Revine where they talked about how they solved a lot of those problems, and that was really fantastic. So, and then of course there was my talk, which I'll toot my own horn, I thought went pretty well. But yeah, FlutterCon was amazing. I don't know when the videos will be up, but there were some really good talks, and it was a little bit of a smaller crowd this year for, I think, a number of reasons. So a lot of those talks didn't get the audience that I think they deserved because the quality was S tier. So definitely worth checking out.
It's a tough thing because you've got so much content in the show. There's only so many tracks, but then obviously you then split the audience between the different tracks. So, and then you have to try and work out the different size rooms. It gets kind of, it's a complex problem. It's like, yeah. So, but yeah, sadly, sometimes you get a smaller audience than you prefer in a room because lots of people maybe gravitate to one talk more than splitting out across multiple talks. So, yeah. Also, there's interesting times when you do the conferences that at the beginning of the first day and like the end of the last day are the kind of probably some of the worst times because like people are still flying in and people are still traveling to these things. Like sometimes these are literally like people come in, stay for like just a day, maybe half the conference, and then go because of other things. So
I was actually really happy with the with the turnout for my talk. I made a lot of really good friends. People who are as obsessed with like Flutter embedded and stuff like that as I am, and so that was a really fun connection, some fun connections to make. I need to go back on my Discord and LinkedIn and reach back out to some folks because like I'm home and I don't want to just like let those connections go now because I think Flutter there's a huge opportunity for it in the embedded space, just absolutely massive. And I think that there is a small number of us that are super interested in it. And I think that we can do some really cool stuff. So.
As Katie said, yes, the two keynotes are already up, but only the keynotes at the moment. I did post them on Twitter. If you, I can put the link in the chat for anyone that wants the link. Give me 1 second. This is the playlist where all the content will be posted. So we have some people on the Twitch as well. So you can go to the posted link and you'll find the playlist. Currently just the two keynotes, but the more content will be delivered on there as soon as it's ready.
FlutterCon
Yeah.
Europe is coming. Yeah.
I mean, the half the thing, like,
Yeah.
here's the thing, like half the thing is because the talks, like, there are 7 conferences that are online now, and it is like a tough sell since COVID. Like, there's less people coming out. It has conferences in person have been picking back up again. But it is that kind of thing of, you want to do the networking side. It's quite a big proportion of why you go to a conference to get everyone in one place at the same time. You have to give people a reason to be there, which is the talks, right? But the talks are recorded. So when you get there, there's also that kind of aspect of, well, I don't need to see that talk because it's recorded. So yeah, you have to try and balance your time. Difficult one.
Yeah, it was funny because I did chat with a vendor that I met at FlutterCon USA last year. I'm not going to name the vendor for obvious reasons, but they gave me a yo-yo. And if you've ever wondered if swag actually leads to sales, in this case it did. That yo-yo ended up with them making a quite substantial sale to my company. And so this year I went back and I dropped by their booth and they gave me a water bottle. It was a very nice water bottle. It was like not plastic, it was metal, it's insulated, it's a very high quality water bottle. So like they leveled up my swag because we did a fair amount of business with them. It was great.
You got the MVP swag, not the entry level swag.
Yes.
One year,
yes, it's like
one year we realized at Stonehenge that you were spending like $1 to $3 making, buying these giveaways in bulk, and we thought, oh, let's do something different. Let's just give them the dollar. So we got 1,000 fresh printed dollars, brand new dollars, uncirculated. And we put them in envelopes. So we said, everybody else is giving out stuff you're not going to use. We think you'll use this. That's what Stonehenge is about.
Nice.
Did that work?
Yeah, and it worked really well. Yeah, we had a lot of buzz.
I bet you had a line of people. Like, yeah, they're literally giving away free money at this food.
People were respectful of it, that we know of. If they came back, they came back in different clothes or something. We didn't notice.
I'm just picturing
got Groucho nose, right? Groucho mustache, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing just. Oh, I'm not the same guy as the previous guy.
The hoodie pulled down around, snug tight.
Yeah.
All you can see is the eyes.
It's like by being creative and by $20 worth of props, I was able to scam this booth out of $5. It was like,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
We knew nobody'd bother with that. We just wanted to make a statement, and it did. It was like probably our one of our most successful. And also when OSCON was in Portland, we gave away little Stonehenge knives, little Swiss knives with Stonehenge logo on the side and everything. And then a couple days later, I went to the airport and I asked them how many little knives did they confiscate at the end of OSCON, and they said, "Ton! All these little knives we took away." I'm going, you guys, you should have put that in check baggage or something. Yeah, but so we gave away things that would be confiscated by TSA. Sorry, what?
The JetBrains booth, and I haven't got it yet because I was afraid TSA would confiscate it, so I gave it to my friend and he's going to mail it to me. But the JetBrains booth was giving away those like credit card size multi-tools that you put in your wallet, and then they've got like all the different things on them. And like the whole shtick was like the one tool that does everything you need. That's JetBrains. Similar. I was like, that was the best swag at the con for me. I was like, I'm anxiously awaiting my friend to mail it to me because that was by far like the best swag. But if you miss FlutterCon USA, don't feel bad. I will be at FlutterCon Europe, so you can see my smiling face there. I will be bringing Captain Reef with me, and fingers crossed I'll have another project done by then that I'll be bringing with me as well. So if you want to come and party with me and potentially some other cool people, make sure you drop by FlutterCon Europe.
And what are the dates, Simon, on that? Do you know? End of September,
like,
somewhere in there.
First week of October. I think it's like the first weekend in October, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, it's usually like that last week, first week, something like that.
Here is the link that you're looking for. I shall put it in the chat. But everyone can go to it.
Yeah, Berlin is such a cool city. I love it.
Just to click it. There you go.
And
Would you say
and
so?
I just got an
Well, I was going to say,
invitation. Go ahead.
I was going to say
Go ahead.
that I want to clue people in the fact that next app DevCon is FlutterCon. So it's FlutterCon is just one of them. The idea being here is that we're bringing multiple conferences that were taking place all together under one roof. So now you can, if you're coming to FlutterCon, you can go look at Android talks, you can go look at React talks, you can go look at Swift talks. You're not just limited to just Flutter stuff. And this is like the idea of like this is like a mobile, not necessarily mobile, right? Like just a full developer conference, right? So next app DevCon.
If you were having trouble figuring out which Flutter talks you want to go to, now you got even more problems because you got 5 other conferences to think about that you could go to.
So
yeah,
We should have like
OSCON did that. OSCON did that by becoming sort of the wrapper around the Perl conference, and Perl just became a track. And after a while, Perl just completely disappeared as a track. And I went, oh, no, Flutter's like that too. Flutter's now getting absorbed into bigger conferences, and it's just going to become a tinier track.
We just need more and more people to talk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think that we should have like a giant like con war, like it's like Flutter versus the React Native people, and like we have some sort of like demolition derby or something, or like live action role play fight or something. I don't know. Warhammer. I don't know. Just something to pit the two together to settle this debate once and for all.
Cool. Well, we're not getting any questions yet. We've got quite a few people watching, so if you got a question, go ahead and get it in. Put Q colon in front of it, put it right there in the chat, and I will flag it.
I do. I never picked up. I never continued with the 3D work that we're doing, so we could finish some of that off, do some live coding.
Or
did you want to talk about what you've been working on, Randall?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Actually, Simon, I would like to formally, officially request a public code review of my new package, Block Signal. You can start by going to the pub and tracing any one of the 9 packages I now have there, and then link to the GitHub repo, which is a giant mono repo. And I would suggest starting with the skills subdirectory that's under plugin/skills or something like that. But yeah, we can actually look at this.
I was going to say, do you want to tell people what it's about?
Yeah, so Signals I've been really excited about for the last few months, and especially since Rody released an upgrade that really made it a couple of things really powerful, as well as it was already. Block's been around for a long time, but I never really got into Block because I knew that the carrier for Block was Stream. And while it isn't essential for the block pattern, it's sort of the way that Felix put it together. And so I've had this idea for a long time of doing something like Block, but using Riverpod inside. So you still have the block pattern, but you've got a different state management underneath. And then Signals came along, and I went, boy, that looks like the right kind of glue to go inside Block. And it turns out it was. I've only been working on this as far as coding for a week. So this is all done in a week with my development processes driven from issues inside GitHub, driven from my multi-step workflow process to make sure that everything gets done correctly. But already we have hydration, dev tools, test frameworks, block signals for open telemetry, serious documentation all the way through, although that's slowly getting beefed up. I've written 9 Dev2 articles on it already, coming at it from different aspects, like why is this better? How do you convince your boss? We could actually skim through that article because it's actually got some pretty good stuff. But none of this was written by hand. This is all me prompting, and it is really there. So the basics are, if you know Block, you already know Block Signal, guaranteed, because I've mimicked all the class names, all the methods that were possible. So you can just take everything you know about Block, anything you want to learn about Block that Felix's environment ecosystem has generated. That's all applicable to Block Signal because it's exactly the same. The only difference is that it's synchronous because it's not streams. You don't pay the microtask penalty every time you emit. It's all done in the same cycle. So you can actually tell a qubit, update your state to 2, read the state, and it's already 2, as opposed to the way emit works on block with streams. It's also faster. We've got benchmarks, that benchmarks can be made to say anything, but just the emit protocol, the emit carrying from the front to the back with block signal is 2 to 4 times faster than either the equivalent for RiverPod or block with streams. It's also easier to test because you don't have signals to glue on, or you don't have streams on both ends to glue to. You can connect directly to the fact that every one of these can act like a signal. Also, we have full interoperability with RiverPod, block, a traditional block, listenables, streams, provider. We've got interop with all of those already. And this is all in a week. I can't wait to see what the next week is. On the docket is let's see, forms, and there was something else that we had to. Oh, I'm also going to do stronger testing. I'm going to do prop testing to really make sure that the things are thoroughly tested. But it's 100% coverage already on all the tests. Anyway, that's the first pitch. So I gave it the theme, the rigor of block together with the flex and speed of signal. Rhodey's really excited about this too. He actually said, well, can we just merge this into a signal then? I said, no, it's fine. Let's keep it a separate ecosystem.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, you can iterate separately to the main library. It makes more sense like that. Also, people that want the main library may not want this. So, yeah, no, it's totally the right way around doing that.
Right. But if you look at the skills, particularly the interop skill, it actually shows just how close we are to everything else on the planet. You already pasted the link. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick little note through. So we've got our block signal base.
Yep.
That creates a signal of the state type, this initial state, passing through the various options that are required.
It's set up in such a way that the constructor for your block signal or qubit signal state is internally a signal model. And the benefit of that only came out in V7. The benefit of that is that any effects or computeds that are created inside that block are automatically registered for destroy at the end. So you don't even have to add extra steps to save all the return values for your own disposal. It's all handled automatically for you. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about this because it really looks like it can solve a bunch of people's issues, and it's because it's 100% interoperable. You can drop it into your existing code base tomorrow and just have a brand new block signal that's doing something, and totally interoperated with it. It'll pretend to be a provider, so you actually can do ref watch on the provider that it links through. Yeah,
I mean, most of this is, it's just glue between the two. I mean, there's not really much to talk about, really, right? Like it is
right. It's simple. It's blindingly simple. In fact, the first draft, after I just suggested it,
it's quite funny. I was talking to a long-term friend who's been programming as long as I have a long time, and we were talking about this. We were talking about saying that we said the other day, the best code is boring code.
Yes,
the best code
this is
code that you don't have to think hard about. It's completely boring. You look at it and go, "Yep, okay, great."
Yep,
it's totally boring. That is the code that you want to produce. And that doesn't sound funny, but
Right.
you don't want something that's all like tricksy and like, like cool and like it does this kind of cool thing. It's like, no, you want boring code.
Right. And the key thing about this is that it isn't like there were 7 standards and I created an 8th. It's like I'm deliberately making sure this leverages all the knowledge and all the writings and everything about block. So you can just start using this, and all of a sudden you get synchronous state propagation and an increase in speed and an easier testability and interoperable with all the other systems. In case somebody has a piece that they want as a riverpod thing, it's fine. You just plug it in.
So that brings me to my question about this, Randall,
Sure.
which is, if I have an app that's been entirely written in block, can
Yes.
I more or less just rip out the existing block package, drop this
Pull up
in,
migration.
and then
Pull
get
up
the
the migration
performance
skill.
benefits?
Simon, pull up the migration skill.
Yeah, right. All right. Where
It's under plugins, skills. What? Oh, yeah, you're looking in the old version of it. That's fine. Yeah, no, migration. Yeah, scroll down through that because that'll show you how easy it is to get from block to block signal.
ragged.
It's basically
Okay,
almost a replacement thing. Yeah.
Huh.
so you can do progressive migration, 0 all at once, right?
Yeah.
So wrapping them right two
Right.
blocks.
So you
Yeah.
can have both for a while if you want. And then here's
Interesting.
the Flag Day version. Which is,
String,
you
yeah.
just heard them. But so there's the key things to know. It's synchronous rather than async. There's no microtasks involved, which speeds up your tests, by the way, because you don't have to do any awaits in your tests. It has the value already. And it also uses lazy pull rather than eager push. So unlike value notifiers that are already computing the destination thing, this signals underneath don't actually calculate a computed until you pull the value. It's only marked dirty internally when its dependencies click. Yeah. So it's a lot more efficient. Oh, and it auto dedupe too. So therefore you don't get 2 signals being emitted, where with block you had to add an extra stream processor in the middle to get the dedupe to happen. We have those transformers too, but and also it's deduping based on equals of the object, the double equals of the object. But you can also give a custom double equals to any of these block signals, and it will use that instead if you have special reasons for that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun writing, and Anti-Gravity was a great junior programmer making things happen. But I'm pretty happy about the ecosystem now, and I'm hoping more people will pay attention to it.
Yeah. Spot the difference.
What's that?
I'm saying spot the difference. Before classic block, after block signal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I mean. I changed the class names. I changed one of the member variables. A state already has a meaning. It's the actual signal inside. So state value is .state.signal or .state.value.
Huh.
But yeah, so I've got blocks. I've got qubits. I mean, it's the same thing. It just signals in the framework, in the fabric. And even all the consumers, all the Flutter consumers are all there, ready to use. Even when some combinations didn't make sense, since you also have access to computed and effect, because it's a signal underneath. So you just say block.signal, and now you've got a block.state, and you have a signal that can go anywhere that a signal can go. And it's read only, so you can't push things back through that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the boundaries are correct. I think basic implementation is correct. Sorry, Simon, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, there's not much to look at. Like I don't. Yeah, it is what it is. I think the answer here is if when you're doing your next project, if you're used to block, try block signal. That's really what should happen, right? Like,
Yep.
see how
Or
it goes.
slowly include it. You can also slowly include it in your app too, because we do have all the interops available.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of block. Not for any particular reason other than
So
personal
here's the
preference.
thing. I want to put this out there because the thing is,
Mhm.
the way block is implemented is Felix's take on block,
Right.
and I want to make sure that people understand that because block, the idea of block and what block was at the very beginning was not what the block package is, right? With qubits, I think that's
Right.
not how. That's you've got this whole there's a whole set of APIs in there and stuff that Felix have implemented. That is the Flutter block pattern that he's built, right? Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that for people that like.
And I knew that, and I made sure when there was a question about whether to implement a particular thing a particular way, I would refer back and say in the generic block description, how was this done? And the anti-gravity would tell me there actually wasn't anything in the original specification. So I said, okay, great, then just default it the way Felix did it, so people will be easier to come across. So yes, I recognize that Felix's specific block library is a specific implementation of a generic idea, and that influenced how I built this.
So it's funny, Simon, because what you just pointed out bit me in the butt hardcore. Because I learned block before Felix's package really was big. And so I hand implemented it, and I hand implemented it using something called RxDart. And I just built all this stuff from scratch on my own. And then when I had to actually use the block package, it's like I understand the concepts, but like the syntax threw me hard for a while until I figured out what was actually going on there. So I get it.
RxDart, I really like RxDart. I use it in like every one of my projects.
I used to use RxDart. Yeah.
Sorry?
Oh, you still use RxDart? Yeah.
Well,
it's great.
Basically, instead of if you use Stream Controller for any reason, you probably want to be using a subject from RxDart.
Yeah.
That's
right.
When it comes to
Like, well, the nice thing about it is like, well, go ahead.
I'm saying when you create a stream controller, there's like a broadcast stream controller. Normally, there's a lot of behavior that you want in there, so that when someone first listens to that broadcasting, it outputs the initial value. Otherwise, when someone connects up to a stream, they don't get any data, they don't get any value, right? Same goes when it gets cancelled. You want to make sure that you're unsubscribing for whatever sort of thing that it's hooked up to, or you know. And I think that's the kind of thing that you get with the behavior subject and publish subject, and that side of it from RxStart, and then RxStart just pulls across some of the other things. It's different from the original versions of RxStart because the original versions of RxStart used the observable pattern that was Rx pattern originally, right? And it's like, well, we don't need that you only needed that because of Java, right? And the way that Java worked originally, like you didn't have any other way of doing it. But now, because of the way the streams work in Dart, it's like, okay, we don't need that. So they stripped all that out, and now it's just basically an enhancement. RxDart is basically an enhancement of Dart standard Dart streams, which basically just take it to the next level, right? For everything, it's like the collections package, having added the collections package to your project, which enhances the use of like iterables and collections and lists and so on. Well, you add RxDart for improvements on streams.
Yeah, 100%. Because like to the point that some of the stuff in RxStart, I can't believe they haven't just brought into like Flutter and Dart just straight up. Because I get that not everyone would want it, but you're right. When working with streams, it makes life so much easier. Like just being able to get here's the last thing that came out of the stream when you subscribe to it, single-handedly makes your life so much easier.
I always wondered about this notion, like. So when you're building a function, sometimes you can build a function that returns a stream from an instant to variable, right? So you've got like a stream controller or something like that where you can go fetch a stream from it, and that can be a broadcast stream, and then you can like listen to it. Or each time you call the getter for your stream from your facade class, whatever it is, your outside class, what it's doing is creating a new instance of a stream each time, right? So it doesn't have to be broadcast, because most people don't realize the default for streams in Dart is once you cancel a subscription, that's it. It's dead. The stream's dead. You can't use it again, right? That's the difference between a normal stream and a broadcast stream. So there's this kind of like there's a pattern that used to be very popular in Dart. It was you would call a function and it would generate a stream controller inside the function, hook up the functions and do anonymous functions in there to do whatever processing you need to do, and return the stream controller stream. So what you had basically was like a little mini kind of like class, but it's like now each time I'm calling a function, I'm generating a new one, I'm generating a new one, I'm generating a new one. When actually they're all fetching the same thing. Like there's no parameter. If there was parameterization on there, I can understand that, like a filter or something that you're applying in there. That's one thing. But the fact is that if all that thing is doing is returning the same thing each time, well, you build it once and then you return the broadcast stream object so that you whatever value you write to it just writes out to everyone, and it's easy. I never. It's interesting you're talking about this, Randall, with what you're doing with signals. I very rarely go down the route of using synchronous futures or synchronous streams. They just like they have a place. Don't get me wrong, and there is times when like using future or and you need to use this synchronous value, or but yeah, just thinking about it, like you do get. I mean, when do you actually use a synchronous future or a synchronous stream? Like these things.
Yeah, you don't need to with this.
Yeah.
The last one of those I just pasted is an article on how to sell this to your boss. Why don't you pull it up just for a second so we can see the 5 points I made?
Well, this one.
But I mean, yeah, pull it up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Scroll through it. And then I'll stop talking about this for a while. not very long, but at least a while. But I also encourage people to look at it, and if you have features that should be in there that aren't, file issues. It's all in GitHub, all open. All my development so far has been very open.
Oops. So this got published on the GDE.
Yep.
Should publish it on the Flutter community.
I tried importing it to Medium and it just crapped all over it. So I can't put stuff on Medium at all. It's brand new. Well, yeah. But I'm just leaning on the shoulders of everybody else. I mean, I'm not really inventing anything. I'm just fixing the glue.
I think that like this whole thing about like a new library is like untested. It's like, well, I think the answer to that is it's like, well, you need to really look at the code yourself and see, is this good code, right?
Yeah.
Like how much do you trust it, right? And like how many bugs are reported and so on. But like Flutter has loads of bugs reported, doesn't mean it's actually buggy, right?
Right.
But I will say that that in this regard, like now with AI, it's like, well, no, you just time box a try. Just what you need to do is convince them for a bit of time to try it out.
Yep. Right,
and that it may improve the speed of the app and fix some bugs, some state bugs that you've got and stuff like that. So then you use an AI to the skills and the other stuff in the repo to actually get AI to convert a section of your app or whatever you work on to use it and see how it feels and see how it works.
Yeah, the migration skills are specifically to enable AI to migrate you from block. I like this one too. I came up with this one. I said, answer this one. That's a tricky one.
That's an interesting one.
Oh, yes. Zero code gen, by the way. Zero code gen. Now and forever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was one of the triggers that moved me away from provider or from Riverpod 3 is like, you really are going to dig in on build runner, huh?
You didn't actually need Riverpod
do it without.
Needed.
Yeah, but it kind of limits the kind of stuff you can do. Block signal doesn't
but I mean,
generate. Is the Boilerplate's different.
That's an interesting question. I could replicate some of the functionality of Freeze without using Freeze. I could probably get rid of Build Runner in most of my projects. Like that's the last thing I'm using that really uses Build Runner.
But why?
Okay, Simon.
I'm just saying that, like the build runner stuff itself. You know, it's people misuse it when they're developing it. They don't do watch, so they constantly running it, going, "Why is this?" And etc. The other one is they've actually improved the speed of it now. It is super quick now. It's super instantaneous. It's like and the whole delete conflicting outputs thing, that's all gone away. You know, like so.
I'm willing to do Build Runner on data models because they don't change as often as code changes.
Yeah. No, I agree. Agree to that.
That's fair. And the real value to Freeze to me is like the sheer amount of boilerplate that it just takes care of for me behind the scenes. And
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Does
enterprise
does Freeze allow you? Does Freeze solve the problem of setting having null as a value on an object to be able to set something back to null and like a copy with? They use Sentinel values, you know.
Yes,
it does, right?
Yeah, Freeze solves that. Yes, that is one good thing. Riverpod does that too as well for its internal keys. But I've already got OTel because there was a objection when I first published it. Somebody said, "Do you have OTel for it yet?" And I went, "Not yet." And then 2 hours later, here it is. That's kind of how this has been happening. And that last one, actually, we fixed, so that's not even a question anymore. We have all those services the same way that Block does, but there's this sort of playing against the two. Yeah. And I've been getting a lot of great comments and feedback already. 11 comments on one of the other articles. Yeah. Thank you. Now I feel like we at least put it out there, but we still should do a demo of you using Block Signal for something.
You know what you missed out on? You know what you missed out on? You missed out on naming it yet another state management.
Yes.
No, but you know what I don't know.
It's a double state management, block and signals.
Right. The intersection, right. No, but actually I call it Block Signal because I'm a closet rail fan, and Block Signal is the name of that semaphore thing that's up by the side of the train tracks to regulate whether you can go or not. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I almost called it Signal Block. Then I went, no, actually Block Signal is going to be a train thing. That's going to give me train themes for all of my art. So yes, all these pictures have all been uniquely generated things that had a block signal and a train going by and something happening in my Dev2 article. So
yeah. DeLorean being crushed by the train.
Right.
Yeah, the mechanical railway signals are called semaphores. Yeah. So apparently our visual signaling with flags. That's called semaphore.
But block signals. Yes, right. Are the names of red and yellow lights that are next to the train tracks. Because they control a block that's ahead of you. Yep.
I'm talking about those signals that are like, they actually move up and down, you know what I mean? Like the old school.
Yeah, the arms. Yeah.
Yes.
Semaphores.
Most of those have been replaced by lights. Yeah.
Give them blocked signal and then have like an icon that's like a cell tower of no bars.
That's good. Right. I like my trains though. It implies speed too. The speed of a train, anyway. Yep.
I mean, this seems quite quiet show, to be honest. I mean, we can always do an early one if no one's got any input.
Or you could do live coding with block signal. I'm going to get you in there. Just make a qubit. Just a qubit. That's just the tip. Okay. He didn't take me off the screen for that. All right. He has the power. I know. Yes. All right. Oh, Simon, where's the subtitle setting on StreamYard? Where do you flip?
You
the
have to. It has
subtitle?
to be turned on. Then you can edit it.
No, but I mean, where is that
Now you can
button?
edit it.
Oh,
Yeah,
where's the button
no,
to turn it on?
Oh, it's under the style. Sorry,
Style. Where's
style theme.
Oh, style. Okay, I see style over there. Right. Cool. Next time I have to know where that is, I can know. Slowly learning how to be driving these trains. No questions, except the one question which I answered in the chat, which is, I'm using RiverPod. Your thoughts to move to signals? Move to
Yes,
block
move.
signal. Yes. If you go to block signals, you can even stay RiverPod partially.
I will probably just stick the signals.
Yep.
But yes, I mean, you're right. It is a quiet show. So if we want to hop off and
Call it an hour. Yeah.
I mean,
Do
people
that.
get questions. Anything you want to talk about, Flutter or Dart or coding related? Yeah, now's your
Or block
chance.
signals. Can you please
Flutter
check a Flutter module?
question.
What Flutter module?
Who is it? That's Mon.
Did you paste a URL that we can't see?
Yeah, because there's nothing in here.
Yeah, we don't know anything about what you're talking about.
I mean, there was that. That's the last question we see from you.
Yeah, and I answered that in the chat, which is use block signal.
I do have one small thing we can talk about while we're figuring this out.
Cool.
I haven't tested it yet, but for those of you who are on Linux, supposedly the snap package for installing Flutter has been fixed. It has been a mess for a while, and I've been chatting back and forth, and it's on my list of things to do. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I need to test it and make sure that it is doing what it needs to do. But supposedly they've done some work on it and it's good now. So worth checking out if you are a Linux dev.
Yeah,
There's,
Mon, we still don't see anything, Mon.
Yep.
So if you post something that has a URL, nobody sees any of it.
Right. You can type URLs all day. We're not.
You might have to retype it because it might be thinking it's spam as well if you repost the same thing you posted before. Maybe as well.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know Canonical did the dbus package, didn't they? Yeah, for Linux support. So that's another really big deal for supporting Linux.
Supposedly multi-window support is still coming. There was a talk on that. I didn't get to it.
Yep.
Still being worked on.
Yeah,
I'm just going
it's on my list of videos to watch when they post the rest of them.
There's a lot of videos on that thing that I want on FlutterCon that I really wish I was there to see and but yeah, we'll definitely watch it afterwards. Yeah, here you go, look, Canonical's packages on Flutter and Dart. Let's have a look. There are 39 packages. So you got dbus, which is basically absolutely necessary if you're trying to interact with like objects shared by the operating system. That this is like a whole system about how apps can actually advertise that they do something and interact with other apps. It's a sort of standard protocol. So that's really important that you access that. G settings. Same thing between user preferences. That's interesting. So that's like shared preferences, right? Blue Z, Linux Bluetooth stack, desktop notifications for Linux, network manager for Linux, GTK utilities for Linux. That's interesting. What have they got in there? Okay. Oh, okay. So you can read like some of the global settings that are maybe are available to other applications that usually use GTK. So you can now access them in your Flutter app. I gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah. So the Linux embedder for Flutter is mostly based off of GTK 6, I think they said.
Yeah.
To the point that they thought about calling it the GTK embedder instead of the Linux embedder.
So look at that day. Wizard router, uPower, Execute desktop portal. They got standard libc. So this is kind of actually like an important library because there are times when you actually need some of the libc functions if you're doing, especially if you're doing Linux stuff, but some of the system calls that just aren't exposed through Dart's API surface. So it's really important that you've got access to these. Where's the... See what they've got in here.
Robert Ansell, that's the gentleman that I wanted to shout out. Robert Ansell over at Canonical. He's the one that's done a lot of work on this stuff, and his talk was excellent. You should watch it. We do actually have a question in chat.
Yeah.
VGB Brian.
For Randall. Well, there's no Q in front of it, but VGB Brian is asking.
Is that Brian? Is that
probably?
Is that Betasaurus himself?
With block signal,
Brian,
can you listen to individual fields? Yes, you can use the signal. You can use computed, which basically takes a signal and turns it into another signal that will only emit when that particular field changes. Yes. So yes, Brian, you can use individual fields. And that's the great thing about leveraging on the signal infrastructure is that computed effect and signal give us access to, storage, observable storage, derives computing, and side effects, all very easy to set up. And they are self-subscribing. Once you just mention .state in any of those things, it automatically registers it upstream. So it's one of the dependencies.
Nice. Brian, check your emails.
And no central container. No central container like Riverpod is. It does it all by having it stored inside the signals each. It's an amazing structure, amazing strategy. And like I said, it's pull driven rather than push driven. So you're not computing anything wasted with the dependency graph. Any other questions on thing?
Nope, that's it.
No, I knew that answer. I was just trying to see if anybody else had any questions.
You're trying to prompt people. Yeah.
I tried to prompt people. Yes. Let's see. How do we hide that? That must be something. Oh, there's hide. Okay. Done with that.
It's really great. Like if you're trying to do some Linux stuff now, like it's really great that there's actually a bunch of packages like this to actually make your apps, because this is the bit that is we know that we've got this great kind of foundation and support for cross-platform, but it's the plugins that really make the ecosystem work. Like otherwise every app is rebuilding, redoing the same thing over and over again.
Flutter does really well on Linux. Canonical has done such a great job. To the point that I usually boot into my Ubuntu install whenever I'm actually doing Flutter development. It's like I keep Windows for video editing primarily at this point, but for actual development stuff, I usually do it in my Ubuntu install because it's just such a more pleasant experience. So.
I'm tempted to play around with the Flutter scene.
Scene. The one thing I remember from my improv days. Scene.
I am super curious as to what Flutter Scene does. I reach for Flame a lot, but I would love to do more 3D stuff. So,
I mean, I can tell you more about it, how it works, if you like.
Yes, please. I would be fascinated.
Why
Tell
not?
us, Uncle
So-
Simon. Tell us.
I am good. I'll take you kids on a bedtime story. Yeah. All right. give me one second.
Okay. AI Simon. Here we go. AI Simon, make me a
Yeah.
podcast about Flutter scene, and then put it in voice mode. We'll
I
see
thought
how
it was
that goes.
Simon GPT. Simon GPT. Yeah, right. Make it sound like 2 or 3 people are talking.
All at the same time, you know.
It's a conversation, not a,
Yes.
a soliloquy.
Right. Let's get.
That's what they need for those voice things. They should interrupt each other. They should interrupt each other more on those 2-party audio tracks that we're getting out of Notebook now. It's now Gemini Notebook, not Notebook LM anymore. Gemini Notebook, the new name.
Is anyone familiar with Epic Rap Battles of History?
I'm sure there are people that are. I'm not one.
It's a YouTube channel, and they do like George Washington versus I forget who they are, but like they did one like various key figures in history they do, and then they also do like pop culture stuff. And I feel like we could. This is totally lost on you guys because you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's on YouTube. If you type Epic Rap Battles of History, you'll see it pop up. I feel like we should do one of like the different AI models, like Grok versus Gemini, and you know, they go at it.
Yeah.
We could burn a bunch of TPUs that way, sure. That's what I'm thinking every time I was prompting all this last week. Is I'm thinking, how many TPUs am I actually setting on fire here?
Hang on a second.
Uh-huh.
I know who this is.
Oh,
Hey,
Hello.
he's the guy.
it's VGB Brian.
What
is up, gentlemen?
Hey, greetings.
Hey.
Welcome to our show where we're derailed occasionally.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
I feel like I came in right for
Yeah.
the derailed part. So yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Right. Block signal. Check it out. There. I just said that one more time.
Have you guys read the notable commits of 2026 by that was
There was a video on it. And I have it in my to-do, but I haven't done the video yet.
yeah. I was just like looking at the last update here, and it's like, oh, okay, there's actually there's quite a few updates here. Like there's yeah, should I share my screen? Can you look at this?
Oh, we have a question too.
Welcome to Brian. Do you want to give a bit of, like, I guess, backstory on who you are for those that don't know?
Yeah. So I'm one of the original authors of RX Dart, Flutter architecture samples, Redux. I basically built like a whole bunch of stuff back in 2016, 2017, and then sort of shared it with the world. And then during COVID, I don't know, I got a little tired of online stuff. So I kind of went dark, but I was reemerged with Superlist. And so we put out a bunch of open source with Superlist. So you might have seen Super Editor. You might have seen Super Native extensions, which is actually, we also actually contributed heavily. We wrote a lot of the code with Canonical for multi-window, such as contributing financially to the Great Thread Merge as well, supporting the developer Mate Nop. I didn't do any of this. I was like just the lead of the dev team, and we were basically hiring this like insanely talented developer named Mate Nop, who worked on a lot of this stuff and shepherded a lot of this through the Flutter community as well. So that's sort of my background, is sort of on that side. Now I'm unfortunately Superlist is still going, but they've changed their dev team. They're I think taking a different change of direction. So I'm now hanging out with the crew at Very Good Ventures.
I wonder if AI has anything to do with it. It's like a lot of companies.
It does.
Yeah.
Startup life is tough for sure.
Yeah, it's like the startups, right? Like it's about the bottom line, to be honest, with startups. So like they don't. It's very similar. Like startups don't employ juniors, right? And there's a reason why they don't employ juniors, because they can't afford to, right? Like they need output, right? Like that's. Whereas a corporate should be wanting to employ juniors and stuff, so they can build an actual employed staff that can manage and maintain their products and so on, which is a different paradigm.
The market's too competitive though. So what happens is you train a junior for 3 years, and then they go get $30,000 more down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And biggest problem.
Well,
Can't expect people to build juniors. It just doesn't work.
I'm going to post this in the chat because I actually haven't seen this before. I know I've seen bits of this being mentioned, but I didn't know this whole notable commits exists. So this was created in January 24, and then you got the prior ones from previous years. Honestly, I haven't been tracking this at all. So basically, look, we've got like a couple every month, and this gives the details about what's been going on in some of the commits and what's been happening inside of the Flutter stuff, and like that is really cool. And then where am I? Hang on, too far. Yeah, so we've actually got like June. We could have a look at what's been going on in June. Current cubic transformation, linear range, engine performance. There's been a lot of like stuff like this. This is like really important to supporting like Flutter GPU. A lot of this is actually Brandon, who is basically now working on like a lot of Flutter GPU full time. Like he's done a really good job there. Well, that's patronizing. He's done it all. Like it is really, brilliant.
I mean, can you explain why there is a dead shark at the top of the page?
A dead shark.
I'm serious. Yeah,
scroll up.
The picture. Yeah, at the top. Yeah.
Isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious?
No.
It's It's like your prize. When you like got something on the hook, it's your prize you're hanging out, right? This is like showing like off what everyone's done, right?
What?
If you go
I don't get it.
What?
I don't get that.
What?
That doesn't make
I kind of think if you go fishing, like you're showing off your prized output of what you've been doing, and that's what I kind of got from this as well. This is showing off everyone's work that they've done on the project.
That's a stretch. All right.
That's kind of when I saw it. That's what I thought. So
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It was meant for you then.
It works, but yeah.
Just for the one person. Yeah.
It's not a shark, says people. Johan says it's not a shark. I think it was a big fish. Yeah, it was a fish of some kind.
Yeah, so the compatibility stuff.
Pull request.
Does anyone actually use
it?
Does anyone use a Swift Package Manager yet? Because I've not been using on any of the projects at the moment. Not like going out of my way at least to do the migration.
Whatever fish it is, don't lick it. That would be important. We learned.
Yeah. Important information.
Brian's going, what? What are you guys talking about? Rewind the show. Catch up.
I'm just here to hang. I saw block signal. I was curious about what you were up to, Randall. So that's cool. Yeah, because I've been playing with signals as well lately, and so
I think patterns. When you look at the model, which is with the rigor of block meets the flex and speed of signals. And so we have a qubit signal out of the box that is just a nice class that's observable, and then we also have the more powerful blocks, which is just like block.
I mean, sorry, just trying to look at this. So HDR textures, split operations, so buffer to texture, texture to buffer, texture to texture, like that, like getting these things in their instance draw command support, like this really takes, these are the type of like things that take the Flutter GPU to where it needs to be, right? Like these are all very recent.
Is BGV's the one that did Hamilton, right? The first big.
Yeah.
Are they still? Are you still maintaining that?
Oh, gee, yeah, indeed. Yeah,
nice.
For sure.
8 years now, I guess, right?
Yeah,
close.
Yeah,
almost,
for sure. Yeah, no, it's it was like I'm glad it's not the only showcase for Flutter these days, though. Sure. It was like there's like a 3-year period there where it's like Hamilton again.
A Broadway show I can never afford to go see is being the way that I'm being told Flutter is good.
Yeah. No, but it's cool. It's cool to see how much Flutter's grown since then. I mean, it's just it's nuts.
huge.
And it's used in so many places
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time I could keep up with it all. Can't do that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No.
No, me neither. And I'm supposed to be doing that as part of my job as a GE. I read.
I didn't work on this project, but like I don't know if you're aware, but like it's in the RAV4 now. Flutter drives the latest
Yes.
RAV4,
Yeah.
which is like I think that's insane. And I didn't work on that project at VGV. I just joined earlier this year, but the team here really helped out with that, and we still have still contribute to that project as well. So that's I don't know. That's like one of those ones that's I think truly nuts. Is I mean, it's great to see it working on Linux and Mac and iOS and Android, of course, but I don't know, going down to this embedded level is so cool, I think, as well.
Yeah. Toyota,
Okay, now I've got
LG.
1,000 questions for you, Brian. So, like, what embedder are they using on the RAV4?
He doesn't know.
Are they like?
I
You don't know? Okay.
I actually do. I'm not sure. Like, I'll be honest on that side. Like, I don't know exactly like what I can say, what I can't say. So they actually are open
Okay.
sourcing some of it. I think pretty soon.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'd say like keep an eye on that space for sure. But I don't know if I can give too much insider info on that just
All
yet. Yeah,
The
that's
whole
cool. Sorry
Flutter
to
on
like be like,
RAV4
oh, it's cool, but I can't.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. The whole Flutter on
Yeah.
the RAV4 project is probably one of the most interesting stories in Flutter for me right now. So that's why my
Yeah,
ears
yeah.
perked up on it. It's super cool.
And
It's okay,
if you
Brian.
know the guy, if you know the guys, thanks also for a very good analysis, which is probably the first package I install on every new repo.
It's
Nice.
okay,
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah,
You can
I'll pass
reverse
it
the
on.
tables on Matthew. For weeks, he was telling us about his FlutterCon project, but he wouldn't tell us any details. He was working on something cool.
Yeah, I made the fortune.
What did it end up
telling
being
fish.
actually?
Oh,
you
yeah,
made the fortune
so I
telling
made-
fish. Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
get
I
a
don't know
chance
if
to
you
go to that one, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, no, well, yeah, it's a little kiosk that you go up to and you press a button, then it asks you 3 questions, and it uses Flame to have the fish like swimming around and doing all the crazy stuff. It's way cooler than what I'm making it sound right now. Like, so I'm gonna have a
No,
video
I heard
about it soon.
people were hyped about it. I heard
Oh,
people
really?
were hyped
Okay.
about it, so that's cool. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I didn't get a chance to experience it myself, but I heard a lot of buzz about it. So congrats, that's so cool, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just running on a Raspberry Pi, but it's using Hannes's Flutter Pi embedder. So that's why I was curious, is because more embedders is better. Like having options is always good.
You know what the next option is? We should get to use Flutter GPU and just some 3D stuff on there.
He's already working on Simon AI, the Simon LLM. Yeah.
Yes,
His next
Simon
project
GPT.
for Berlin. Yeah.
No, I actually have a cool idea for Berlin. I just don't want to talk about it because I don't want to commit to it, because if I don't get it done, I don't want to feel bad. That's the thing. It will be another embedded project though. So I have a number of things
And
that I'm
then-
working on.
And then I gave you an idea that might turn into something too.
Yeah. I am open to talking about that one. That would actually probably be a good thing to do on the show at some point. But hooking up a PlayStation 6-axis controller and then getting the motion sensor data off of it to be able to interpret that and accept that input. Like the Flame guys do have a gamepad package out there that you can use, but
I've
it
got
doesn't
code
do
for that.
the 6-axis stuff.
I've got some code for that if you want it.
Ooh.
I did that. Did that with I think with the Xbox controller.
Oh, cool.
And I did it with I also did the Bluetooth. Do you remember Google Dream, the headset? And I got the Bluetooth controller for that, and I did that as well, an interface for that for Flutter, so that you can get all the IMU data from that.
Honestly, the biggest reason I'm excited about Flutter GPU is it will finally merge my dreams of having Flutter running on a VR headset and doing like VR stuff with Flutter. Like that's kind of where I want to go with it, but we'll see.
This is also recent, like flavor support for Windows desktop builds. I've been wanting that for years, for I don't know how long, and it's all like everything's come just literally recently. like this, like expose apps build name and number as compile time constants. Yes, like since day one, I've wanted this.
Right.
Why is this
right?
I think it's like it's one of those things of like this isn't me mocking, like obviously like there's like priorities, and this is hardly like a P1, but like, and also I could have contributed that, right? So it's like, you know, you got nothing to say about it, right? Like, but it is like kind of like I'm looking at it, I'm going, yes, we have that finally, yes, like. And yeah,
I did not get to go to
authors.
the VGV talk. VGV had their own embedded talk, if I remember correctly, about it was an exercise machine of some sort. I felt so bad I wasn't able to go to that one, but it looked really, really cool. I'm going to definitely catch the recording.
Yeah, I need to catch the recording of that one as well. I didn't get a chance to review that talk before it went out, but yeah, I think we sent I think like 12 or 14 talks, something crazy at the FlutterCon US. So we had a big presence there. Yeah, for sure. It was cool.
Just GV Con, honestly.
That's good. Yeah, the Flutter at Scale track was the big deal that we ran as well, because we wanted to bring more enterprises into the Flutter conference ecosystem as well. And I think the team did pretty incredible job on that side, I have to say. Because I think that's, like I said, kind of part of the what's cool to see about Flutter for me, like having started so early on, and you're like, I don't know, pinging like Ian Hickson directly and being like, hey man, can it do this or that? And now it's like, all these major companies using it. So it's cool.
The SoFi talk was particularly interesting. Sorry, Simon, I'm sidetracking.
No, carry on.
We do have two questions.
The SoFi talk was particularly interesting because they are the only company I've heard of that has actually successfully converted an entire app using add to app. Most people that I've heard of that do that, you end up with like a ugly hybrid forever, and it's annoying. But they did it. They literally ship a Theseus to their app into Flutter, which is kind of impressive. So.
It is.
I think that app is amazing.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't done that before, the whole ship of like rebuild an app and rebuild each component and get like eventually transform the whole product using that, it is like quite an undertaking. You don't realize like you think of like the top level when you look at these things, but then once you start going down the nitty gritty and like seeing what was how something was put together, and you have to refactor it and like really give it some good API surface, and so you can actually refactor one bit without breaking everything else. It's like, wow, that is definitely a difficult proposition. And then, as you were saying, they're going from native to Flutter, right? So using add to app, which is like even like to cross those boundaries and to do it in any sort of semblance of sanity is another thing altogether as well. So.
Yeah.
I was on an add to app conversion project once. Never again, Simon. Never again. I still have nightmares about that whole mess.
I mean, you end up with like things like use SQLite. You have like your Android and iOS code like stored into that, and then you're on the Flutter side, it just reads from that, and like you can kind of like like have ways of transitioning data between these two completely separate environments. Like Dart is its own essentially environment, and anything you transition across that barrier, like any of the sort of channels and everything else, method channels, is that you have to serialize everything, right, in some sort of fashion and then that's what eats up all the kind of effort, because you can't just like, you can add to up a certain portion, but now how do I get data in and out of that, and how it's just not great.
Yeah, and if you're rewriting, a lot of times it's not, you might be doing it because you don't have like a good data layer to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, step one is like sort out the data layer for the native side, so you can actually create a decent interface on the Dart side to communicate, subscribe to that data. It's a huge deal. And it kind of, I don't know if you guys, like there's like this old classic Joel on software post about like mistakes you shouldn't make. And one of them is like rewriting an app from scratch. And I always think about that. because we did that when I worked at SoundCloud, and you just like end up dropping so many features from like one rewrite to the next. That's why I do think add app is like a cool way to do it, because you can slowly migrate. But as you said, Simon, like the devil is really in those details, because it goes beyond even SQLite. It's like, okay, how do you handle analytics? Like all these things get crazy.
Oh yeah. Here's a question for you, though, just to extend on this point. It's different now. I found, so I've been doing some stuff recently. Can't talk about it, but anyway. But I was doing some stuff recently, and it was like with AI doing these kind of things is a whole different, like predicting like how long something's going to take now. I'm like, I would take like weeks for this thing. Now it's like, 2 days, done that.
Yep.
So it's like, and then also the lot of the problem with doing these things is just the comprehension, right? So to understanding this whole swath of code, how it interacts with the system, what are the inputs, what are the outputs, what are the how to do an error handling, what's going, like how do we transition across some of these boundaries. And now it's like you can pose those questions to to one of these really nice AI models and actually get actual answers out of it, right? That it actually does make sense, and that is the an interesting thing to work with now. Is a completely different world in terms of development when you've got like the AI coding assistant going along with you on your journey, and you can start making substantial changes and things. That on the flip side, though, from the tech lead reviewer side of it, it's like, well, you also need to be able to break those things down and actually task them out and submit things and have them reviewed individually, because otherwise you end up with these like massive 100 file PRs, multi-100 file PRs of like always changed across a whole space without any clear idea about what they were trying to do. Like, here's some code that's changed. It's like, great. How do you want me to review this?
Yeah.
So again, just the reviewing
I have a fun
now
story
is
about that.
people are now reviewing code with AI that's generated from AI, which is like it's a whole thing. Go on.
So this past week, I'm working right now on a heavily AI generated code base, just to be completely honest. And I found out that like 3/4 of the core state management machine is just dead. It's not being used anywhere in the app, just dead. And like I went down and I traced all this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually dead. And the fact that it's just been sitting there and nobody noticed, and it's not even like this weird feature off to the side. It's the core of what we're doing, and 3/4 of it is just dead code. And I'm like, oh my god. And it's complicating everything that we do anyway. So /rant.
Yeah, I mean, like this is another thing that gets left. Another thing that's always happened, and it happens with AI as well, and that is like from a conceptual point of view. If you're working on code, you know that if I'm refactoring something, that's now dead code, right? You can it can be public, it can be public function stuff. So from a reference point of view, it's not exactly dereferenced anymore, right? So you don't get some automatic this is a reference anymore. But to actually find out that something is not used, and it's more complicated than it is, right? Because obviously you got runtime, you might have some linkages that that are happening at runtime, like like DI or event-based stuff that is all quite dynamic in nature. So it's quite often that people refactor a bit of code, and they just that bit of code they refactored has the last connection to another section of the app that's no longer used, but they don't know that was the last connection, so they don't clean up that whole section. And also things like people do things like, let's say you've got let's say a Flutter screen in your app that's using some icons and imagery from assets. You might clean it up and refactor it. Did you go check to see if those assets are still used? Because a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people don't go, is this still being referenced? It's still being used somewhere else. If not, I'm going to go delete the asset file because it's no longer there. So you really there's a whole swath of kind of like, a lot of products have a lot of dead code in them. A lot of products have a lot of dead assets and files. And I think from industries, depends on what again, what the companies and what they're offering. But from a development standpoint, it's really hard to like say, okay, we're going to spend 20% of our monthly budget on just ensuring the product is clean and like and it's good, and like there is ideally you want to be doing something like that, right? Where there's a budget of the time of a certain amount of time you're spending your developers' time every month on just maintaining the current product, not from like a pure backlog, but just like looking around and actually like looking at for issues and find them and say, okay, we need to fix that. Because again, like there's that don't touch, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like don't want to create more bugs or issues, but at the same time you're also adding more code. So as you add more code, you need to refactor what's there. Otherwise, you're just the ever stacking layers of crap on top of each other. Before you know it, it all comes tumbling down, right? Like,
So
that's why one of my favorite.
At.
That's why one of my favorite. Just a second, yeah. That's one of my favorite review queries when I first get a code base, or after I've been working with code base for a long time, is please review this entire code base. Tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that wonderful phrase gives me exactly what I want to know about the code base. And I take all the uglies and file issues. And it's just instant.
So I worked at a startup once, and I was going through the assets folder, as you were talking about. And there was a random picture of a dude that worked there like 3 years ago that had been used as a placeholder that had never been removed. And for some reason, I do not know why, God only knows, was not being tree shaken when the app was built. And so we were able to remove a significant amount of the app download by deleting this picture.
Sorry, I was just imagining this is like an 8 megabyte like PNG file or something.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
What was that stuffed in there for? Jeez.
Yes.
I've seen that kind of thing before. I've also seen it where apps literally was one of the very first products I worked on was for LG. It was a very long time ago. It was for LG. And it had an animated splash screen before getting to the app.
Okay.
The entire app was like, I think it was like 3 meg. It was one of the very first Android apps. Very small. But once you added the animation, that was like 8 meg video file. So for the little splash screen that took place, it was bigger than the entire rest of the whole product put together. And it's like, why are we doing this? So there was a lot of like, let's cut it down, let's compress it, let's try and like reduce some of this because it was like ridiculous. But it's that kind of thing of games. I mean, games another side of this, right? Where a lot of the time now, like games have always been asset heavy, right? Like you've got all the visuals, all the sounds, all the metadata for the levels in games and whatever. And then you've got scripts for like logic and stuff. So from a game perspective, a lot of the time, most games have just got a small engine and then the rest of it is all in the assets. But that's just kind of blown all out of proportion now, right? With like, now you've got like multi-level, like level of detail, and in terms of not just like textures, but also in terms of like, the actual model graph, the models themselves and everything else. So it's not just you're playing one quality of game or you've got like a high and a low tier quality of a game. No, now you've got like 20 different quality levels on every asset, and this thing is like 50 gig, 100 gig, and you're like, what?
So in the PS4 era, I actually read about something interesting where they would actually add duplicate copies of the files on the game disk and then have it copied over to the hard drive, because by having the files next to each other, it decreased load times and made the performance faster. So they would literally have like 6, 8, 10, 20 copies of the same file on there, just ballooning it up. So, and then when you did the digital version, they didn't like change that. It was just, that's just how it was. And it's like the stupidest reason that games were inflated that I've ever heard.
Yeah, some of those original PlayStation games, they would actually. So this is really interesting. I love some. If you go to YouTube, you can find some of these old game mechanic things where the developers go on and talk about how they built these old games and to maximize the performance. And those original PlayStations were like 2-speed CD-ROM drives. They're like 300 kbps. Like there's like not a lot there that you can get out of these. So because again, you can only have so many polygons on the screen at any sort of memory at any one time. Again, memory limited. Like as much as we saw all these like massive 3D games, and we even have them now, there's still only so much you can have in memory. You've got like if you've got like a say 1 gig of graphics, your game is a lot more than 1 gig's worth of data it has to put on that GPU. So it has to swap in and swap out data. This is how your entire system works right now with RAM on the machine. Like you might have, say, you can have like 4 gig of addressable RAM per process, but only have like 1 gig of RAM in your PC. It has to swap in and out that data from your hard drive. It's the same thing with the graphics card and games. And it's really interesting coming back to the PlayStation time, which is that they would actually, as you said, they would position data on the disk so that it was sequentially loading. So Crash Bandicoot, for example, here, as you would progress to the level, each of the blocks, like they break the level up, the route that you would run down in Crash Bandicoot into segments, and each of those segments would be loaded consecutively, sequentially on the disk, so that as you would do it, you could actually start loading it in and essentially stream the data in from the disk, because they just couldn't have it all on the screen, and it would lower the seek times, right? And again, same thing. GTA did this a lot as well. The GTA games where it would stream in and out with just what's around the player, right? So you have like an open world, but you can't. You've got like 32 gig of RAM, I think it was in the PlayStation 2 or whatever. I can't remember what it was. It was like not a lot, right? I say not a lot. It was probably a lot for the time, but not a lot into what they were trying to do with that data. So yeah, you just had to work out a way as a developer to get around those. And those are the time that I think like development really is quite fun, right? When you've got limitations. I think that's one of the reasons why embedded is quite a fun area, because you're limited, right? Like you've got to work within bounds. You've got to figure out how to do something in a certain space. When you got to quite modern sort of general purpose computer we do now with apps, like just slap it together, right? Like there is no like limitations really. Like you can make mistakes, don't get me wrong, and go something stupid, but like in most situations, it's not like you're having to work with the machine itself to get it to do what you want it to do.
It's still one of my favorite old optimizations. I'm sorry.
No.
I say it's one of my favorite old optimizations from like early Android, right? Was where they told you not to use enums and they told you use just like static variables pointing at integers.
Because
that was actually that was a more memory efficient than using an enum as well. And so it's funny even just how far we've come from those like dark old days of super underpowered mobile devices as well.
Do you know what those original Android apps I was talking about? You had 64 meg of RAM on an entire mobile device, and you had 4 meg given to your process. That was it, 4 meg.
Yep.
And if you're a graphics app like a gallery app where you had to load photos, you could request for a large heap, which was 16 megabytes. Right? And like right? It's like, but here's the thing. But back then, when you would when you like pan around an image on the gallery on your phone, right? You would actually call out to the API, or the OS API, and it would load from disk just that proportion of the graphics. So you would actually tile load in portions of that video file, of that image at a higher resolution, because you couldn't load the entire image into memory now, right? Most people now I'm just going to load the entire file and just decode it in memory. And it's like, it's like 20 gigs, 8 gigs of RAM. Sure, why not? So
we got a million contacts. We got a million contacts. We don't have.
And then it's like crazy.
I worked on an Android app once, long after like it should have been updated, but it was a medical app, and it was just tracking tons and tons and tons of state inside the app, and they were just using a local database for all of it. And like, I get why they did that. It wasn't like even long-term data. It was just like, this screen needs these 100 things, and they just stuck it on a database because they couldn't rely on the memory to do it. It was insane.
I do find it kind of like find it interesting that now there's a lot of things that you go to a database for previously, and now you can just do in memory, right?
Yeah.
It's like just being able to like have a quite like even like multi thousands of items in memory and being able to sort through them or index them or whatever, being able to do that and not have to have a whole sort of database and management behind it. It's kind of an interesting change. I don't know. This is the kind of thing that goes back. It's like, why are games and software so big now, and why are they so bloated now? And it does kind of come down to this, like the developer attitude and like how we do it. But it also comes down to time, right? Like which is not given the time. It's like people would have like 2 years to work on a game that was 16 kilobytes in RAM. You know what I mean? And like they'd have this perfect game, that would fit exactly into memory. That they would reuse bytes, so do all sort of random crap, and they would be able to sit there and get every inkling, every little byte and bit usage out of the machine. But they had the time to do that, right? And they'll say they didn't have the time because it still takes long, right? But I think that the kind of aspect of this is that now it's like, you can't spend like 4 years building a piece of software. You can't spend that time building any bit of software now and getting it out the door. You've lost the market in that time now, right? You lost the market within 6 months now, a year. You've really got to like push. Like with the startup, you've got to be iterating cycles, at least release once a year, definitely twice a year, right? Like it's kind of, there's it is that kind of thing. Like you can run like the fact that you can run like Windows 2000 in your browser at the same speed.
Yeah,
it was like we were talking about. Obviously, we were trying to run something the other day in the browser. I think it was Half-Life 2 now runs in your browser, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like this was like the thing that was like the best game, the best graphics, like everything else at the time that you need the best graphics card. Now it's just like throw it in the browser and it just works. I'm not saying it wasn't an optimization hell for the guy to actually pull this off, the developer who did this, but I'm still saying that the fact that you can do that is mental.
Okay, so have you, Simon, seen the guy who like completely emulated DOS in a browser using nothing but CSS?
Nothing but CSS.
Oh,
Oh god.
In principle,
What?
yes. So he started by basically emulating like an i386 and then built DOS on top of it. I just sent you to GitHub. This was featured on Hackaday. I was listening to their podcast while I was mowing my lawn yesterday. Man. And yeah.
These are things I like. I'll be up to be honest here. This is brilliant. Like, should we have a look?
It's not necessarily Flutter related, but
No, while we're here, we're talking about software. That's good enough. I'm sure people. We have some questions that way, so make sure we jump onto that.
Yeah.
we should probably do the questions because I'm going to have to run here. But
hang on. Oh, I see. What is this?
Why? I love that started. That's like the first question on there. Why?
So hang on a minute.
Windows.
So
Doom.
DOS
Doom was
shell.
probably the first thing reported.
All right, let's do Doom. Let's do Doom. Okay, sure. Go for it. What the hell am I seeing here? Download cabinet. 330 megabytes? What? Press enter a few times to boot the splash screen. It takes about 30 seconds to load.
I should warn you before you try to run this, Simon. The guys on Hackaday said that it consistently crashed their computers when they tried to run it. So maybe be aware of that. But
let's find out.
Not like pushing the limits for CSS or anything, right? No.
Let's go. The fact that we actually have any sort of logic running. Come on.
So CSS is Turing complete, apparently.
Nah, it's gonna get further. Probably not.
Who knew?
You go.
Who knew?
Oh. Wow. Let's see if we can.
He's got a gun. Watch out, people.
Well,
He's got a gun.
forward. I can look left. I can go left.
yay, we went left a little.
Hey! One pixel at a time.
Let's get back. Let's get out of here before it crashes my machine. But like, okay. Yes, it runs too.
I think I just broke Simon.
I'm just like, but why? I have to have a look at it. Like, it's a fun, like, it's the technical challenge of it. Let's be honest, right? Like, like the fact
So
that
if I remember correctly, the way they did this is they actually first started by emulating the underlying i386 x86 architecture. Yeah, there it is.
it's actually,
Yes.
yeah, there's
And
another
then they built
project
DOS
by
on
someone
top
else.
of it. Yeah.
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 I mean, this is the thing is, this has been
Crazy.
around the x86 like 8086 kind of architecture running in browser is something that is, it used to be like a crazy notion previously, but now with like being able to compile stuff to WASM, it is like really performant. But the problem here is like this CSS only, I just don't get like that's just, yeah, no. Like why? You just, yeah, you're not even trying to optimize it at this point.
Because you can, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you can, but should you?
I'm not even sure. I'm kind of interested to understand how that actually works. Like, I didn't think it was Turing complete. So obviously they've got like a transformer that transforms whatever that sample, like the input is into like CSS, and it just the analysis of the CSS is effectively running it. So it's like a second order magnitude kind of thing. Interesting, but yeah. All right, we should probably get to the questions, right?
Sure.
I have to leave in like 8 minutes, so yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's do the whole show hasn't had any questions. So let's get the final questions.
All for the same guy too.
I was going to say they're all from one
But not
person.
really.
So.
Okay.
So this is their person. Philippe asks, sounds stupid, but I wonder how the Lean Code Flutter Text Summit app managed to have such a fast loading time with an animated splash screen. Any thoughts?
Not tried it. I actually wanted to go along to that, but I just, same as I could get onto Flutter America at the moment. But FlutterCon USA. Did you go to FlutterCon USA, Brian?
I didn't make it there this year. Nope. I'm hoping to target FlutterCon Berlin this year, though.
Yeah.
You can get your fortune read from a fish.
Nice. Hopefully. All right. I got to make it then.
Don't lick the fish though.
Don't lick the fish. Yeah, it'll mess up the Pepper's Ghost effect.
So, well, since I haven't seen it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like having, so I did a talk. I think that there's probably the best thing that you could probably do is watch my talk on exactly this. I'm assuming they just did what I suggested in my last year's FlutterCon talk. So let me go grab that for you, and then you can go watch that. Shameless plug, but that's exactly what I can think of. So,
Hey, it's our show. We can say what we want. Doesn't matter.
we can plug our stuff. You have to be on the screen to plug your stuff.
Yes, that's legal. Just other people can't plug their stuff.
Where is the playlist? DreCon. No, FlutterCon. FlutterCon EU. Oh god. One of my videos is the top video on the list. Don't do that.
Yay.
It's got my face on the playlist. I didn't do that.
Oh no.
That's actually a really fun one. I would recommend people might have fun watching this. I'll let me swap things around here on the screen. So
Oh yeah, I was at that talk. That was a fun one. It legitimately was.
So there's no splash screen on like the playstyle listings, so I can't really like talk about exactly what they're doing. But that was fucking fun talk. This one at the top, if people want to watch that, I'll put the link to the playlist in the chat. There should be another one in here, which is Was it this one? My tips and tricks? Was it last? Was it? Hang on. I think I did like let's see. Who knows where? I was pretty sure it was in there. Can't search playlists, and it doesn't load the entire playlist unless you scroll through it, right? Let's go find my talk. I know. Let me go grab my give me a second. That actually links to the video. I've got the slides. That's cool now.
We had something like this at Superlist. If you're interested too, I could chat about. I think a lot of it, like most animations, is a sleight of hand. So probably what they have is like on iOS, you can't actually have a splash screen animation. So what you do is you make sure to defer loading as much as possible of your code. And you can do that in a few different ways, but generally, like within a main function, you might be like initializing a whole bunch of stuff, like shared preferences and all this kind of stuff. So delaying that as much of that hard work as possible so that you can get your Flutter app run as quickly as possible is sort of what you're going for. Then what you do is you have like essentially, so I just downloaded the app to like see what they're doing. I bet what they're doing is they have a black splash screen, and then their first screen that they show on the Flutter side is black, and you do basically a direct transition between those. You load that first screen as quickly as possible, and then you play a native Flutter animation right there. So it's really like most animations, it's a sleight of hand generally. So black screen to black screen, so you don't see the transition. And then getting your Flutter app kicked off as quickly as possible to run that animation as well. That would be not seeing the code. I don't know if there are any lean code folks here, but that's how I've kind of done similar loading states in the past. But
that's exactly what my talk was.
Yeah, I did the same exact thing in an app recently. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Wait, was it 20? Was it 2023? I thought it was last. Might be 2023.
They all run together.
Time is a flat circle.
So. It was. I found it.
Guys, I need to hop off. I've got a hard stop. I got to get to my meeting. But it was good hanging with you, Brian. It was good meeting you. And
thanks,
I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Cool. Take care.
So I will put this link in the chat. This is the GitHub repo with the source code in it. That does exactly what we're just talking about. There's the link to talk. What's the link to the talk video that I need to obviously fix?
Link?
It was 2023, right? So that should be up on
archive.org. Way back.
I was gonna say it should be up on the thing, but actually I don't think it is. Oh no.
Lost.
I have to see if I can. It'll be around. But the slides are here, and you can look at. You can replay the slides yourself. But this has a whole section on app startup, which is what Brian was just talking about. And that apply it there. So you get this this is like talking about Android here, but it's pretty much the same for iOS. You have your native app launch, which initializes that runtime environment. Then you execute your main environment, maybe does some asynchronous work and preps the widgets to be drawn. Then you do run app that binds them and actually starts the process of rendering. Your Flutter actually does the rendering, and then you've got an interactive app that you can actually do, right? Now, here's the point. Ideally, you want to hold the native splash screen. You've got two options. You hide the native splash screen for as long as you can through that process until you're ready to render and interact with the app. So I talk about the approach here of you can have your native splash screen, you can configure your native splash screen in Android, iOS, and then you have the exact same image and splash screen inside of Flutter, so that when and you use there's a function which I think they're going to in here. So this is no blank splash screens to show you how you do that kind of thing, and there's a video here showing how it like animates the splash screen. That's like that, anyway, and there's a few little changes you can make in your investment to code. Anyway, so you kind of want to do this. I said, like, this is kind of what a lot of people do, something like this, where you kind of like setting some stuff up and then you're starting your app up or something. But actually what you want to do is get your app running as soon as possible, right? So you kind of into your run app, and then inside of your actual entry point for your app, that's where you're, let me hide our faces for a second. And then what you're actually doing is initializing. You can see here we're calling load app, and this function, which is for all that work that was happening in main, is now happening whilst the app can be rendering something on the screen, right? That's part of the parser here. Obviously, here's the problem with this, which is if the app crashes or it does something during this kind of phase or there's some issue, you may not have your apps up enough, like the logging or the error exception handling or anything else, to actually handle that. So you kind of do like this two-stage bootstrap a lot of the time, where you kind of do the initial bit and then you actually do the full load. You can take this like however you want, but this is the next bit, flicker free splash, right? So normally you get this kind of like splash screen that takes place, and what you've got here is you've got the native splash on the right, then it flickers, and then you've got the Flutter splash logo there. Now the flicker is cool because it takes a few milliseconds to load that logo in the middle of the screen. So what's happening is it wasn't ready to render on the screen because we didn't have all the assets and everything loaded. So you use defer first frame and allow first frame, which are part of the renderer binding, to actually hold essentially hold the native visuals until you're ready. In this case, you can see here we're holding it until we have the splash screen pre-cache assets loaded, and that way we can guarantee that now with the next bit here, I've gone through here, you'll see now that obviously no flicker, and it's hard to obviously visualize, but that's working flawlessly, right? Because we're giving it time to load. As I do talk about, also a lot of people do this thing where they call, like, at least at this time, this is 2023, so 3 years ago now, but a lot of people were calling out to async methods during build, which any side effect from build is bad, right? But async is extremely bad because it doesn't complete during the build. So you now get these stacked async tasks, essentially like async tasks, maybe wrong word, but async executions that are taking place. So you don't control the timing and when, how many times build is called. That's what you got to remember when you're building Flutter apps. Don't change your app state during the build, right? Like a lot of, you kind of want your people do like scheduled micro task, and like they have something like some effect that they notice that some state change that takes place, and then they go scheduled micro task build, and it's like, okay, well now you kind of like get this like loop, but actually what you want to do is have your buttons and input change your app state, and then that in effect rebuilds your UI, and that's you've got your classical unidirectional data flow as well. I think it's been said, right? And then again, people know this now, but again, this is one of those ones that people misrepresent, which is of can trip you up, right? So a lot of time people do use of either the ones that built into the framework or their own inherited widgets without realizing what it's doing. But I won't go into how this works because that's what you can watch the video when it comes out, wherever it is at the moment. But the point here is there's a new, well, I'd say new, it was new kind of around the time, I guess, inherited model, which essentially allows you to depend on aspects of a change, which essentially gives you a finer control. And this has been taking place inside the framework because now media query, instead of having your app, let's say you do media query.of, you're going to say, okay, I want my widget to rebuild whenever any one of these parameters changes, right? Now, when I may not be looking at like the inverted colors options, when that gets changed, I don't want my widget to be rebuilt when that happens, right? I mean, silly example, but you get my point. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here. So that's kind of what people do here. A lot of time, this just trip people up because they've gone from a world of mobile without resizing screens to now mobile with resizing, multiple teams on the same screen, or they've gone now to web where the window does change all the time. And now what happens when we do this, every widget that does this is listening to the dependency of media query with size change, and every time the window size changes, i.e. the Flutter rendering area, it will rebuild all the widgets. And you kind of get this like, then that causes another rebuild to happen, another build, and it's like you kind of get this like cascade effect happening on your, possibly on your UI, depending on how you built it, right? So don't do that. Instead, you want to use this size of, which is which is now the standard way of saying, I'm only depending on that aspect of media query, and that uses an inherited model under the hood. And there's a bunch of them, right? So anything you would need to depend on, and now all of the stuff that's inside the framework has this, right? So if there's anything that you're using of from the framework, you probably want to look to see if it's got a orientation of, or whatever the field is of. So you're only depending on that one aspect. This is another one that I do like every. I was going to go through this, but we're here now. Every app I kind of build, I do this. So I normally want a builder, but I want to pass across a child element to that builder so that it's only rebuilding like a wrapper widget. The standard builder pattern, the standard builder widget inside of Flutter doesn't support passing a child. So I end up with this, which effectively does the same job. So yeah, you can just copy that chuck in. And there's no point having a package for this. Like it's so basic, right? Yeah. So there you go. There's an example here of, okay, my platform brightness changes. So now I want to change my color of my piece of material. This is obviously a stupid example, but and choose the right theme based on that. But the deep widget hierarchy here at the bottom, that's not going to get rebuilt, right? That's not going to get refashioned when that changes. Right? I always thought about stream build and future build. I think it's kind of like all sort of known stuff now. People again would do this thing where they put a function call which returns a stream in build, which obviously means that every time build runs, you get a new instance of the stream or something like that, or at least because the return value of this is different, the stream builder essentially starts a whole new async snapshot flow of loading and everything. So yeah, you get this kind of like reloading each time you go back to a screen. Yeah, we just save that into a variable and use that stream from a variable. Right, simple fix. Yeah. Again,
that problem was a problem on the. That was a problem on the API docs for many years because they linked to a video that actually showed how to do it wrong, and I had them fix it.
Yep.
Ouch. And this kind of stuff as well, where you can do. So this is a common pattern that I've used back then. I haven't used it recently, but I haven't used build. To be honest, I haven't used Stream Builder of recent. But when async snapshot here is just like a nice little when sort of handler. So that means that extensions. So it means that when you get async snapshot come back on your Stream Builder or Future Builder, you can do like a when and show various different states of UI based on that. Anyway, I wasn't here to go through the talk. But there's a lot more to this that you can go. The link's in the chat, so anyone who wants to go see it, you can go read through it yourself. But yeah, anyway, there you go.
I did a video on that. The .when thing was a video. I did a video on that. I think even before you put it in your talk, but I don't know. We'll see. Doesn't matter.
So
yeah, I think one interesting thing you were mentioning, Simon, as well as like the child builder. I think it's funny with const and with that, the thing that's really interesting. I'm not sure, it might be like old school style, but if you haven't had a chance to read through the element class, there's actually a specific method on the element class called update child. And if you're like into Flutter, like go just read that method because it describes basically exactly why const widgets are useful. It doesn't describe it. It actually is the code of why they're useful and why that child builder pattern is so useful as well. And just as like a highlight of that is basically Flutter is going to compare like if two instances are the same. And if it's not, it's going to skip walking further down that widget tree to see if it needs to rebuild more. So that's, I don't know, like it's like kind of, like I said, an old school tip, but reading through the element class, especially that update child method. Nice. I think it's even described in the docs as like the heart of the whole rendering system for Flutter. And so, I think, and it talks about how it can like move widgets from one slot to another slot. Like it's just like, it really is the heart of the Flutter update mechanism.
If you look at well, I'll post a link actually. It's the API docs element class has a huge bit of documentation. Also, render object, the base render object has a big piece on the rendering tree as well. So,
and state also has all the state callbacks, which I find convenient all in one place like that.
Mm-hmm.
Marking build and dependency.
I have to say, like, I'll post some of these in the chat here. I have to say, like the docs are really good. Like the Flutter docs, they were a time where they were not so good, and then there's a whole push to get in the docs a lot better, and it made a huge difference. I think there has to be said though that reading documentation. I said this to someone the other day, like you have to learn how to read documentation as a developer, right? Like it's a skill that to navigate and use it, because what you really want to do is you when you first get a new library or something, you want to take a review of it, right? So you go through everything, but without absorbing anything, right? It's a very weird thing. You don't read it in detail because it's too much, right? But when you go, okay, they do this thing, they do that thing. Okay, they're talking about crypto stuff over here. Okay, they're doing that thing over there. And then when you come to using it, you go, okay, I'm doing the crypto thing. Okay, it's over here. Now you go read that bit about crypto or how it works or the details around that to solve your exact problem you're having now. You don't go up front and try and read through every page of every bit of documentation. It just goes in one ear and out the other. Like you're not going to absorb it, right? But there is that kind of as you start something like especially like the size of the Flutter SDK, as you start reading one class and how it works and another class and its interactions with this thing and that thing, you can start building up a mental model of how things work. And the more you read, the more you learn about it. It all starts clicking, right? I think that's a really satisfying place to be, especially when it comes to like some of the debugging stuff. When you're actually trying to debug some sort of interaction that's happening inside of the framework that's causing a bug in your app or whatever, then you really need to understand what's going on. Right. Should we have some more? Should we see what other questions are coming in, and we'll call it because we're over time.
Just the three here. Yeah. No more questions.
Smash very quickly.
Get through these three. All from the same person. What are your thoughts on using Flutter compared to Qt for infotainment apps? Use Flutter.
Yes.
That was
we're kind of biased. Because they use Flutter for everything.
Try asking that question on the QT show. The QT show will be the answer.
I mean, like, here's the thing, right? With all of these things, I've actually was looking at like building a desktop app. I thought, you know what other alternatives are there to Flutter now? And I started going around and seeing all these like different Rust libraries and different ones. And I know I was looking at a few different bed libraries before. There's a lot of them around now, and there's even more now that we've got AI and everything. Everyone's giving,
Yep. But
how mature are they, right? How much time have they had in that kind of hot seat?
Yep.
How many users have they got? So my answer on this is, you can say the same thing and say, okay, Qt is older than Flutter, but equally, like, Qt has got a legacy behind it. It's built at a certain time. I'm not sure how much when I last used it, to be honest, was a while ago, but it still has that C kind of, C++ kind of background to it, which puts it in a certain position that it's probably not as easy to work with in a modern application. I think it does immediate mode UI as well. So Flutter probably is the better. I would say try Flutter out. If you like it, use it. It's that simple.
Well, and that's right. Question 2: do you know Flutter? Do you know Qt? If you know one of them,
Yeah, I mean, I say that, right?
The other one, and
that's it, right? Like, but also, the problem is that all these things I was saying previously, I go, well, with AI now, it's not really a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So give me the highlights of this language. How do I do this in this thing? How do I do this? I did this in Qt. How do I do this in Flutter now? Boom, there's the answer. Like.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my recommendation with AI. Just spike it. Just write it twice. just like say, and and then take a look at the result, because it's so cheap to do prototypes like that these days. And a spike is like kind of a prototype is a perfect way to actually get into the nitty gritty details, because you're going to run into roadblocks you didn't expect with each one, solve those. And I think, that's what's so cool about AI coding.
I will say that, you know, it's not just about like that front end, like Qt Flutter being like a widget framework. It's Dart, the language as well, which also makes a huge difference, because you're choosing between Dart and C, or Dart and C++, right? And at that point, there's a whole different ballgame, like hot reload, hot restart, how you deal with like building your app, how fast how all the debugging tools. Like Dart is on a completely different level to what C and C++ is. The reason why, I mean, I love C and C++. It's always going to be a language that I grew up with and everything else. But when you compare that to like these more modern languages now, like there's a reason why people are going to using Rust and Dart and Carbon and whatever else now, right? Because
I'm so glad that the AIs are now smart enough at generating Python code that I'll never have to learn Python in my life now. In fact, I posted a link in my chat about how I made that decision 25 years ago, and it still holds today. I'm never going to learn Python.
You know what? There's a lot of people that say that about Perl. You know that.
Oh, I know that. I'm totally fine with them having similar reasons about Perl, but my Python reasons were very specific, and it's in the chat. My story about that. So yeah.
All right, go on. So what was the next question? Yeah,
next question. And this one I think I have thoughts on. Same guy, same person. I mean, your thoughts about customizing Flutter module generated files, like for Android Live App versus iOS, to support multiple independent Flutter modules in native apps. I don't think you want to do it by changing you really want to have like right with platform lookups and stuff, right?
Well, this is I don't know where custom module generated files comes in here. I mean, your lib app and XE framework are your outputs of of your app, right? That is the product of your app, and you don't include that on its own. Like that is the final product. Like it's not something you ship. It's not like a DLL file that you ship and someone else uses it, right? So there is no multiple of these things. It's just one. If you're using add to app and you're kind of like baking out multiple source modules of source code, then there still is one product of lib app, right? So yeah, what are your thoughts? Okay. Yes to generation. Yes, that this.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe if you can reword it.
Yeah. Okay. And also, same person asks, on Android 13, my bottom sheet slid down from the top instead of up from the bottom, with mirrored RTL-like text and layout. That's sad. Yes, I guess.
Does that mean that you didn't want that, or do you mean that?
I think it might have come up. Did that come up? Is that a question, or did it come up when we were kind of reminiscing about old school Android techniques and optimizations?
Maybe. I don't know what the timing was on this, so I can't answer that. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I don't think we have an answer for this, because it's not really.
I mean, to be honest, there is. Just if it was a bug and you don't want it to do that, you could actually wrap part of your UI in a forcing it to RTL. And then inside of that, you can force it back to its original locale, so it behaves fixed in one direction. So it's solving that bug. Or alternatively, if you want it to come down from the top like before, you can animate it down from the top like before. So both are possible.
Yep. All right. Well, that was all the questions. There's a couple that came in after the bell.
Yeah. But, sorry, no time today.
Yep. Good. And you already got 3, and you can't have a 4th. Come on. Come back next week. Yes. And people, check out Block Signal. Check out Block Signal. Please give me feedback. give me issues.
Come back next week with questions on Block Signal. Yeah.
Yes, please. Please do. I want to hit a 1.0 release soon, so I want to get everybody in line first. Yes.
I was just going to offer that, Brian, you're welcome to come back every week or any week you want.
Yeah.
So I know you're back in the time zone. So, you're more than welcome. Standing invitation.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
Wednesday 5 p.m. 2 hours is the usual time slot.
And if you
Nice.
come
Yeah,
here
yeah, I'd
for
be happy
enough
to come
time,
back.
if you come here enough times, you get your name on that other page. Pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. All right. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Gen UI as well. Like we've been focusing heavily on
Cool.
that, my
Yep.
team at VGV. So if anyone's, I don't know if that's an interesting topic for folks, but yeah, happy to chat
And
through
you-
some of that and some of the techniques we've been working with as well. Or we can just chat about old school Element API docs as well. I'm happy to reminisce and read the code together.
Gen UI talks will be best on the AI Circle show, which we tape on Tuesdays. So
Tuesdays,
Yeah.
every other Tuesday, there's a AI show that's specifically all about AI content. And yes, we should do a show that's all about Gen UI and like how that works, and even show an example maybe of coding thing up. I know that Red Brogdon, Andrew Brogdon, actually did a talk on that at FlutterCon USA, and so he might come along and do a little presentation. So,
nice.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Yeah, we built a demo for Andrew and his team for Google Cloud Next, and then I have submitted a talk as well to Berlin. So hopefully, fingers crossed that'll work out as well. But yeah, I'd be happy to come and even preview a lot of that stuff because I think there's a ton of interesting stuff. At first, I don't know, I was like pretty dubious about the technology, and now I'm like fully Gen UI pilled at this point. So yeah, maybe, I think it's good. It's good. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like so for me, so we want to end the show, but I will say this, like I kind of like, when do you want to use Gen UI, right? That's the thing, right? Like it has a place. Like as you said, if you're trying to get an output back from an AI, and you want to give it that kind of extra, not just text, but you want to give it like expressiveness that allows it to show content from your app or show content or whatever. Like, yes, perfect. That's Gen UI. Also things like, like if you've got like, so we had this before with like remote, essentially Gen UI specifically around AI generated, right?
Yeah, I think you could think about it at different times. So you could think about like, is Claude Code generating UI code Gen UI? I'm thinking specifically about runtime user facing generation.
So this kind of this is kind of interesting because like in terms of there's a name for server driven UI, right? There's that kind of aspect of that's always been around for ages. Like so when I worked on the BBC News app, we actually did this whole thing where we'd allow the reporters, the people actually generate the content. They would have different layouts that can drive the app into, and different they can push different bits of content, so that if there's a piece of some active thing happening right now, they can push like a video to the top of like the home screen and push it out to all the users, And that kind of notion of having sort of like server-driven UI is more about like almost remote config, right? Like it is the same thing as having AI or having some sort of content that's generated and then passing that to your local system, which can interpret that script, if you want to a better word, the structure, and actually generates it. And that was Hixie's, what was Hixie's project? Remote
Flutter widgets, RFW.
RFW. Yeah.
And then there's Stack as well, which is kind of along the similar lines. And there's a lot of overlap there. So actually, it's funny. It's actually so I've been writing a series of blog posts on Gen UI, and it's actually do you remember that like hot dog, not hot dog app from Silicon Valley? I don't know. It's like a joke basically of like early AI where you like take a picture of something and it just tells you whether it's a hot dog or not. Yeah. Anyways, if you remember that scene, I was thinking about Gen UI, not Gen UI, because like I think there's a lot of cases like what you're talking about, Simon, of like, is that like good for Gen UI, or is that like server driven UI a better case, or is a regular recommendation engine enough? But I think to your point, like the use cases I do see it for it, like you have to think through that for sure. I think there's like a lot of use cases where Gen UI is not the right fit, but I think if you have like super complex like onboarding flows that might like have, like multiple screens that you have to go through and configure those, like if you can have like a quick conversation with like a more visual like agent and like kind of plug in a few things, I think like that's going to shorten the time to onboard and like increase your onboarding success metrics, get folks in your app, stuff like that, super helpful. Or I think like complex shopping experiences, like, I don't know, I was like shopping for like a wedding outfit, because like my wedding outfit was old, and I was like, all right, I don't want to spend like too much money, and I need to like get all these different pieces. And then you're like, you know, like filtering and like all through all these like different, you know, screens, and trying to like, okay, like I've got my shoes, I've got my like jacket, you know, my suit, and like all this stuff. I think if you could just talk like in that case, right, you're like spending a lot of time. I was like spreadsheeting even, you know, like these different things. You know, I think a case like that is like if you could just have like a conversation with an agent, you hook it up to some tools that can go search for those things, put together, you know, you give it a budget, you tell like, hey, you run wild and produce like an outfit for me. This is my size. This is what I'm looking for. This is the color, and let it do its thing. Like, I think that stuff that really saves you a lot of time. And then does it in a really visual way. I think for a user, that's cool because then you can save your time. And then for a business, it's cool because it should increase or uplift metrics. And the interesting thing about GenuI is it has token costs. So you do need to think about like, okay, like there's still an ROI element there as well of like, okay, is that revenue uplift enough to cover the token costs and then some? So it is a really interesting, I think, technology, and you do have to think carefully about which use cases it's really valuable for. And yeah, so it's I think that's where I think maybe as an engineer, you're talking about constraints. That's where like you have a lot of these interesting constraints on the problem space, like to make it like thread that needle and to find where it's like really a cool experience. But I think it's going to be good for a lot of stuff, especially as token costs hopefully drop. We'll see. We'll see.
Sure.
We'll see. Yeah.
TPUs.
Yeah, I'll hold my breath. I won't hold my breath for that one. Yeah.
Not in this era.
All right. Well, we'll have another conversation soon. Thank you for joining us.
Cool.
And
yeah, it's great.
We'll see everyone same place, same time next week.
Next week.
Bye, everyone.
Next week.
Bye.
All right. 100